Have you ever stopped and wondered, why is it that just one bitter comment on Facebook is enough to pull you out of your peaceful morning? The moment your heart leaps and your hands start typing back, you are handing over the steering wheel of your life to a stranger. The harsh truth: they need your anger. When you get angry, they know they still have you under their control like a puppet. Think of yourself as a basketball player. You're leading the game, the stands are booing, your opponents are irritating you. If you lose your cool, you lose your rhythm, you lose your game. It's the same in real life. Every time you react violently, you're inadvertently certifying their influence, stamping, "You matter this much to me." Do you really want your self-worth to be measured by how many times you blow up? Take a deep breath. Take a step back. And keep the power in your own hands. Being calm isn't cowardice. It's a declaration that I control my emotions, no one else. From today, before you hit reply, ask yourself, am I throwing my inner remote control to a stranger? There are people who don't need to hold your hand to control you. They just need to touch your anger. Every time you react harshly, blow up, or say something you later regret, you become more predictable, vulnerable, and controllable than ever. Anger not only burns the mind, it is also an invisible chain. And the sad thing is, you don't realize it. They're holding the other end of the rope. You may think you're defending yourself when you get angry, but really, you're playing exactly the role they expect. They're not provoking you to win you over. They're provoking you to confirm that they still control your mind. And every time you lose control, they tighten the rope. You will be dragged along until you are sober enough to cut that rope yourself. That's when you stop being led by your emotions and start walking with initiative. The question is, are you holding the leash or are you being led? Many people misunderstand Stoicism. They think that living according to Stoicism means becoming cold, emotionless, like a stone that no longer feels pain. But the truth is quite the opposite. Stoicism doesn't teach you to turn off your emotions. It teaches you to control them, like an artist controls fire, to let them burn, but not to burn. You will still be angry, still feel sad, hurt, disappointed. But the difference is, you don't let those emotions bend you. You can feel the heat, but still retain your form, your reason, and your dignity. Imagine you are a candle burning steadily in the wind. It does not get extinguished, nor does it spread in chaos. You can burn without losing shape, because you do not run away from your emotions, but face it with the stance of an inner warrior. The question is, are you being carried away by your emotions, or are you sitting firmly in the eye of the storm, unmoved? Marcus Aurelius once asked, "Are the consequences of anger ever more serious than the cause of it?" And if you've ever lost sleep over an argument, or found yourself regretting something you said in the heat of the moment, you have your answer. The truth is, what makes you angry usually only lasts a few minutes, but the consequences can stay with you for a lifetime. A broken relationship, a lost opportunity, a beautiful image ruined because of a few seconds of not being able to control your emotions. You may forget the reason why you were angry, but the words you said, people will remember forever. Anger is like throwing a torch at the bridge you're walking on. You may feel good for a moment, but then you're stuck right where you wanted to be. That's the real cost of losing control of your emotions. So before you react, ask yourself, is this worth the cost of my peace, reputation, or a precious relationship? Anger often masks itself as strength, but underneath is insecurity screaming for validation. It is a weakness is dressed up with shouting, with rage, with a fierce appearance, but deep inside is a person who cannot control himself. You see, truly strong people don't need to scream to prove themselves. They don't need revenge to feel worthy. They don't need others to understand, respect, or apologize, because they don't define their self-worth by the reactions of others. If you have to shout to be heard, maybe it's not about volume, it's about inner confidence. A true lion doesn't need to roar to be recognized as king of the jungle, and neither do you. So ask yourself, am I angry because I was offended, or because I am not yet strong enough to not be shaken by it? When you are really strong, you don't need to prove it. You just stand still. We can't control the world. We can't make people be nicer, speak more tactfully, or treat others more fairly. But there is one place where the power is still in our hands, mind of one's own. That is the real battlefield. They may ignore you, talk behind your back, and distort what you say. But if just a look of contempt makes your heart beat faster and your blood rush, then you are not free yet. You are still giving the key to your peace to someone else. And so, you walk through life as someone who can be detonated at any moment. Just because someone knows the right button to push, that is not living. That is emotional slave. In fact, true power lies not in controlling others, but in what you do. Don't let anyone control your mood anymore. Others may stir up storms, but you decide whether you will become the storm. You are the gatekeeper of peace. Don't hand it over to anyone just because of a provocation. There is a saying worth pondering. I won't give you what you want. And often what they want is your reaction. They don't need to win. They just need to pull you out of your comfort zone. But if you maintain inner discipline, you will see. Peace doesn't depend on how others treat you. It depends on choosing not to react as they expect. Your words will not move me. I am here to be my own master. It is a powerful statement, not because it is loud, but because it is quiet. As Seneca wrote, no one is more unfortunate than he who has never experienced adversity. Because they do not face challenges, they have never known maturity. Anger is the first form of weakness that masquerades as strength. It rises loudly, but quickly leaves a trail of destruction. Meanwhile, discipline, even if it is silent, is the solid foundation of freedom. So next time someone tries to provoke you, smile and think to yourself, I didn't react. Because I'm not your weapon. I'm the one holding the steering wheel. When someone insults you, your first instinct is always to react, to strike back, to respond, to prove you're right. But Stoics don't take the instinctive route. They take a different path. Breathe, pause, observe, and then respond. You may not be able to control what other people say, but you always have the power to decide, will I react or will I respond with insight? It is in that moment when you pause for a beat that you create a gap between stimulus and action. And that gap is inner strength. Every time you choose not to react, you are sending a silent message. My worth is not in your eyes or your words. It does not need to be defended with anger. Because the ultimate goal is not just to stay calm. It's free yourself from false beliefs that your worth depends on other people understanding, respecting, or agreeing with you. And you're only truly free when you don't need that anymore. When everything around you becomes noisy, sarcasm, attacks, cold stares, remember, the ultimate weapon is not response. It is separation. It is silence. Separation does not mean indifference. It is how you pull the emotional strings out of other people's hands to keep a space for yourself, where your reason is protected and your clarity is not washed away. Because once you lose clarity, you lose power. And then you are no longer responding according to your values, but only to the script they have set up. Remember, you are the mountain. They are just the wind. The wind may howl, blow, swirl, but the mountain remains still. The Stoics do not try to extinguish the wind, do not need to teach the wind how to behave. They just learn how to don't let the wind define your shape. Silence at the right time is not avoidance, it is a declaration. I no longer live to react. I live to direct. Don't be under the illusion that just calming down once will be enough. No, life will test you many times. They will return with new taunts, more tense situations, more subtle ways to pull you back into the reactive zone. But the difference is, you are not the same anymore. Now, you don't need to speak up to assert anything. Your presence is enough to make others wary. A calm look, an unwavering attitude. That is the most powerful nonverbal answer. You don't need to teach them a lesson either. Because the real lesson is, you keep moving forward, and they stay stuck in the same old game. Your success, your calm, your focus, and your freedom is a reflection they cannot escape. You don't win by beating people. You win by getting ahead of yourself and leaving them behind, not in resentment, but in the silence of a mature person. There is a kind of letting go that is not surrender, but free. That's when you no longer expect the other person to lose, to admit their mistake, or to apologize to you so that you feel validated. Because at that moment, you are no longer bound by them. True victory lies not in who you conquer, but in who you conquered the part of me that still yearned for they had to lose. It is weakness masquerading as righteousness. It keeps you stuck in the past, in expectations, in mental dependence. Epictetus says, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And if your reaction is silence, letting go, moving on without resentment, then that is a sign that you have won. Letting go is not forgetting. It is stopping letting it control you. You don't need to erase the memories. Just step out of the emotional chains that once bound you. That is true freedom, and the door to a new version of you. Peaceful, strong, and no longer needing anyone to lose to be yourself. Their power, the attackers, the mockers, the provocateurs, exists only as long as you react. When you let their words touch your heart, let their actions control your mood, you are giving the initiative to others. But then there comes a time when you no longer react. You calm down, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough not to need to speak. You drop into stillness. Keep your composure like a shield. Speak little, but every word has weight. Let your silence remind them who you are now. Your silence is a statement. I'm not one to get dragged into a fight. I'm one to rise above it. Not cold, just no longer giving precious energy for things that don't deserve it. If you feel this video touches a part of you, please subscribe channel to continue the journey of practicing calmness and inner mastery with Stoic philosophy. Because true peace starts from within.